Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Alicia and in today's video we will be doing a little flip through first of my reading journal and then I will be updating my January reads in this particular journal. I have 40 books to read as a goal, and so far I have finished 5 books and I colored it with a brown marker. And I was thinking of just changing the colors as per different months, so I know it's like you have a glance through for how many books I read. Here, there's just a clear depiction of different formats in which I have read the book, and I also wanted to check on the book length and the number of books that I read. These are all the same information, I will say, but in different formats. But like if you have watched my reading journal video, the setting it up, I have told that I am setting this one for the first time, and I was super excited. So I have so many things to put in this particular journal. And from the 5 books that I read, Fourth Wing is definitely a 5-star read for me, and I loved it. Reading challenge unfortunately did not happen, but in general, January was a very good reading month. As you can see, I read every day, and most of the time it has been more than 30 pages, which I'm very proud of. There were days where I've read like 100 plus pages, so those were the Fourth Wing book pages. Alright, so now I am going to set up the first book of the year that I read, and this was in a physical format. The name of the book is All That She Can See. It is a fantasy, romance, fictional book, so for young adult. I'm not going to go in much more details in terms of like spoiling the book for you. So I will just talk about what I felt while reading the book and was it interesting to me and if it was something that I would recommend someone. So it doesn't really spoil the whole context of the book. However, I can give a little synopsis of what the storyline is, and it's basically going to be something very similar to what you will be reading behind the book, in towards the end where you have like a gist of the story. So the story goes like that: we have a protagonist, and her name is Cherry, and she's a baker, so she cooks a lot of delicious bakery stuff, and she has a special power. So she can see emotions, which is very cool. Uh, it's like the Disney movie where I think it was called Inside Out, where you have all the emotions in cartoon format. But here, obviously, she only sees the darker emotions of people, and she feels bad, and she feels that with the power that she has, like if she imbues her positivity into her cooking or her pastries, when her clients eat them, they actually feel better, and their dark emotions gets reduced. So she takes it upon herself as her life goal to help other people. So she travels around different towns, and when she feels she was able to control or help the town people to a certain extent, then she moves on to another town where she finds the local bakery where she can do her work and help people. So that's the premise of the story. But of course, there are a lot of things that happens. She always thought that she was the only one, but then she finds this guy who goes by Chase, and he also has a similar power. So she feels so validated or recognized that she tries to form good relationship with him, but he is someone who has the opposite power of what she has. So instead of he seeing the bad emotions, he always sees the good in people, but then his experiences as growing up, he was bullied so much, and he would see his bully, like he would see the good emotions, like being happy or having fun, those emotions in his bully, even though they were bullying somebody else, and that is bad. So he always had a negative impact from the good emotions. So it's a mixed match of a lot of things. It was very interesting. It was more of like an experiment that that I wanted to do with this book, because it was very much different. But in the end, I would say it was a very easy read. I do wish the ending was a little different. They ended it in such a way that there would be a sequel to it, but I don't know if there is going to be a sequel to it. Anyway, coming to the spread, which I'm almost about to finish, it is a bakery cafe inspired theme, so there are a lot of brown tones to it, and I have used ephemeras and stickers mostly from journal say. And if you like anything from this setup or from any of the setups that I'll be doing today, I will be linking them in the description below, along with my code, which will give you certain discounts with all the different websites that you can go and buy them from. And those are affiliate codes, so if you buy anything, I do make a small commission, so that's just something that I want to highlight. This was a 4-star read, and I will come back to this page to put these star stickers that I used in my want to read page. And as you can see, I have put it already in this one, but I will come back to the video. Alright, moving on to my next book. This is Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang, and I did an audiobook for this one, so I did not particularly read a physical or an ebook. So I was simultaneously listening to Yellowface and reading all that she can see. I like to do that because that just helps me to have more books read at the same time, and I also don't get confused. So I understand that it probably is not something that everyone can do, but I like to listen to audiobook when I am doing my household chores, or I am working on my desktop, or I am doing any designs for my sticker shop. It just helps me to distract my mind and at the same time listen to a book and get the quota for the year done as well. For this particular setup, since it is called Yellow Face, and I just wanted to go with a yellow theme, so I am using the washi tapes, this grid washi tapes from my own sticker shop, and the sticker book is from Journal Say. And this particular Journal Say sticker book, it actually comes with I think they have like 20-25 pages filled with stickers, and you need to score it and cut it, or you can actually tear the entire page and just cut it with your scissor. I find that using my X-Acto knife to just cut it all around is much more easier than tearing up the entire page. And I'm going with Van Gogh theme in this one, but I will be using stickers from here and there. It's a collection, and I'm just going to go free flow, just keeping the color palette, trying to be more concise in the color palette and not in terms of the theme. Coming to the book, it is a very interesting book, and I could relate really well with the character, and it was very funny. And the narrator was also very good, so she made it very, very interesting to listen to in terms of the sarcasms and in terms of some of the points that she made. It was to the point, and you feel like you are actually talking to a friend or listening to a friend. So the narration was to the point. I think the narrator makes a huge difference in terms of your experience when you're listening to an audiobook. So I feel that this particular narrator, she did an excellent job of narrating this particular book. The premise is that Juniper Song, who's the quote unquote protagonist of this story, I say quote unquote because she does something terrible, and that is the entire story. I'm not going to go much in deep. I don't know how much they reveal in in the gist of the story in behind the book, or on Goodreads, so I don't really want to spoil the story, but it's just that she does something which is not acceptable. She feels the guilt for doing that, and the story just revolves around it, how she gets consumed with that guilt and how ultimately you know she falls for that guilt, and for that crime that she does. Well, it's not a crime, but it is not ethical. I enjoyed the characters and felt they were very well described. I enjoyed it very much as an audiobook. Like I said, narrator definitely makes a huge difference. The snail mail and special delivery stickers are actually going to be in my shop. This is going to be part of a new collection for stamps, and they will be coming both in matte finish as well as in transparent glossy sticker. This is the first time I'm going to do transparent glossy stickers, and I'm very excited about it. I love PET tapes, but I cannot produce PET tapes at home. I need to outsource them. So that's why I wanted to make transparent stickers, because it really has a very elegant touch to it that I like to have in my journals. These transfer tape stickers are from Journal Say as well, and this was part of a huge haul that I did probably like 2-3 years ago. And I think my total amount that I bought from Journal Say for this particular stationery haul was approximately around 200 euros, so it was a big haul. But this was way before I opened my YouTube channel, or I was actually posting about it in my Instagram or TikTok accounts. I only started doing it towards late September 2022. So I do not have a haul hit video for that. I wish I had done that because it was such a huge haul. It was such a big amount that I had actually drained in the buy. Here I am back with my star stickers that I was mentioning before, and I will be going back to the first spread to put this sticker in. Yellow Face was a 4.5 star. The ending for me, it was kind of, I don't know, I think I was expecting something else to happen from the whole narration that was happening, and it ended in a little different way. So it was just like that was the only thing towards the end that was kind of off. And when I thought about it more, I kind of understand. Like, I was trying to see it in a way that a movie would be made in that circumstance, and then it made sense to me. And that's when I made it like 4.5. Otherwise, it would have been like a 3.5 or maybe 4. But it did take me some time to come to 4.5. It was something that I had to like really think about, and maybe that's something which is good. I don't know, I don't really know, but yeah, it is a 4.5 star read for me. Sticking to the yellow theme, I am going to use the sunset inspired round stickers all over the negative space. I do not own yellow color specific stationery. That's not something that I usually gravitate towards too. So I had these as part of the whole big haul that I ordered from Journal Say, and yeah, I think it goes with the theme and I like it. Moving to the third book of January. It was a physical book, and this is called Before and Again by Barbara Delinsky. It is an American author, and it is based in northeast side of the US. The story, it started off very strong, and it has a very sad story. It is a sad story. So the main character, Mackenzie Cooper, she loses her daughter in a freak car accident, and she has the survival guilt, and also of course the DOJ brings in a law which is in her name. It's called the Mackenzie Cooper law, which prohibits drivers to use cell phone while they are driving, and the subsequent punishment that comes with those accident and illegally using your phone while you're driving. So her marriage falls apart after they lose their child, and she moves to a different town away from the main city, and the story kind of revolves around that. There were instances where I was getting very, very angry reading this book. It's just something that is not common with me. I am not an angry person. I am very jolly generally, and I do not like when I read something which is more like people pleasing, or somebody is pushing you over, like it's very pushover. And even though I am a silent, a quiet, non confrontational person, I will eat the person's head off if they cross their boundary. I do not like that. And in this book, there were instances, so many instances, where her family members were crossing the line, her partner, her ex-husband was crossing the line, and there were friends who were doing, and she was just trying to be such a people pleaser and just thinking about everybody else and not it is. I understand that you can be a sympathizer, but at the same time, you cannot let people just use you as a doormat. I have been there, and I know it is not the best feeling in the world, and it is something that you have to work on, because it is ingrained in you to be more pleasable to the people around you and not hurt their feelings. So, in retrospect, it would be like you could have avoided so many of your troubles if you had just said no in the first place. But yeah, that is how I felt reading this book. I was very angry most of the time, and this was one of the books that actually stopped me from reading. I usually like to read my physical book before I go to bed, and most of the days I kind of get through, you know 30 to 50 pages, depending on how interesting the book is. If it is something that I am very, very interested, and it caught my attention, I will be reading more than 50 pages, easily 100 pages. But if it is something like this and making me angry, I don't think it is good feeling to have before you go to bed. So no, it was very difficult for me to complete this entire book. I still gave it a 3-star read because I understand the premise. I understand the story. It is a very painful story, and there is no good way to present it and make it more lively. It is a sad story, so so it is very difficult for me to give it something lower than 3 or higher than 3 as well. So I felt like 3 would be the best average that I can give out of 5. It was just an okay book. Would I recommend it? Not really. The previous 2 books definitely are, my recommendations. If you want to follow something different, or you want to try a different book, or you want to take my suggestion, please go ahead and read those 2 previous books. But this, I would say, maybe you can just sit it out, like there are so many books, you can read the other books, but not this one. I actually bought this book on a very highly discounted sale. I think I bought it for like €1.5. it was from a bookstore that was closing down, so they had marked it down to like 80%, 90%. Most of the physical books that I bought from that store during their shutdown time were, I would say, average, rating books for me. But then again, I wanted to try out different authors and different stories. But I would say it was not a very successful haul from the shutdown bookstore. Anyway, coming back to the setup of this particular spread, I wanted to go with more greenery and to have a more forest vibe to it. Though I'm not using a lot of forest element, I initially thought of using the washi tape stickers, which were darker, moody forest lines on them, but I decided to go with more greens in terms of indoor plants and different shades of greens. The reason why I wanted to go with green is that Mackenzie Cooper's cabin in the story is situated very close to the forest, and it is also a little far from the main town center. So the way it was described was in a very cozy foresty environment. So the description of the cabin and the surroundings was very much alluring to me, and that's why I wanted to get the particular theme to be more in line with the cabin and the surrounding environment, which was more of green and forest. I really like the marker that I used to write the title of the book. However, the shading that I did inside, I think I just kind of mess it up. It doesn't look that good. And I thought of going it over the entire bit, but then it would just make it look worse. So I just left it with the initial letter. I guess next time, if I'm going to do a similar way of cutting out the title in a separate page, I would just leave it blank and not try to shade it inside. This round dot washi stickers are from Journal Say, and I just like to use them more towards the empty space that will be there, and it looks really nice. It kind of binds in the whole spread, and I really like how it turns out. Alrighty, moving on to the fourth book of the month. This was an audiobook that I listened to in Audible, and it's called Lipstick and Lies by Debbie Vigiano. I guess I'm pronouncing her name right. This was a very interesting, well, very funny, humorous book that I listened to. The narrator did a very decent job of depicting the voices of those other characters, but there were some of the accents and the voices that she used for the characters were a bit annoying. But overall, I would say the book was very easy. The protagonist of this story, her name is Cassandra. She is a 40-plus-year-old woman who is into her second marriage, but the ex of her current husband is a little psychotic, and that's the entire premise of the story. Like, the ex comes back into the picture. She started working in her husband's farm, and she was also she was a fiance of her husband's partner in the farm. The moment Cassandra knew about this, she revolted and made it very clear to her husband that this woman, his ex, has ulterior motive. But obviously, the husband did not listen to her, and he was more like, no, she is the fiance of farm partner, and obviously she has kind of moved on from him. But then she always gets this intuition that there's something wrong, and there's a reason why she's there, and it's not like she's forgotten, because there were history that they have with this woman. So yeah, it's it's a very funny way of unraveling the situation. And they also have, like, she has a very strong set of female friends who helps her in going through these emotions, and also helping her out to investigate few things on their own, which is very hilarious. And I think that was the part that I really liked, the female bonding in this story, the strong set of friendship that she has. And I think it is also very important to have those kind of friendship in your life, because it really helps you to navigate through life and through the tougher decisions or situations that is thrown at you. So yeah, overall, I will say there was a lot of drama. It was very funny, and I enjoyed it. So I gave it a 3.5 star. I don't think anything more than that will be justifiable. But yeah, 3.5 star is what I felt. I was happy listening to it. I was laughing. There were some situations that were like, yeah, yeah, you did mess up. You shouldn't be doing that. But it is quite funny how she lets her emotions take over her. Coming to this spread, I wanted to go with pink because the name is says lipstick, and it's not that lipstick needs to be pink. It's just, yeah, they were very girly. I wanted to get some feminine characters and feminine vibe to this spread, and the three girly stickers below are, I thought that they were perfect for this spread. And the guy on top is the husband of the main character, who is called Cassandra, and both of them are on the right, and her friends are the two female characters the below. I really found it funny that these two characters in the left hand page, they actually have coffee in their hand and one with the food, because that really relates to the story. I'm not going to delve in much, but it has a connection to it, and I was like, yeah, this two stickers needs to be there, because it really reflects on the few aspects of their story and their life which are intertwined. So I really wanted them to be there, even though I'm not going to write all those things, but I know, when I look at them, I remember that they really have a lot of significance in this spread. By the way, the link to all of the stationery used in making these spreads will be linked in the description, along with the affiliate code that I have that will give you certain discounts if you use the code in those websites. Moving on to the fifth and final book of January, and also my 5-star review book. This is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and this book has been one of the most talked about books in 2023. I have seen it going around in multiple platforms by different book talkers or bookstagram people, and I have always loved dragons. So this book was on my list for a very long time. The reason why I got into it this late in the whole bandwagon shenanigan is that I was actually reading Akatar, and I just wanted to fresh start and not have that overlap between the two books. I also want to go back to Sarah Maas's multiverse. So I will be reading her second, I think it's called the Throne of Glass series. So I will be going to that, and also I will start Crescent City this year. but I haven't bought the books or the audiobooks or the ebooks yet. But that is something in my radar for this year. That is also in my want to read list, so I am very much looking forward to it. Coming to Fort Wing, I don't think I have much to say. It has been there for a very long time. It has been very popular. So most of my subscribers or followers would have already read them. But just to give my perspective of how I felt about it, it was brilliant. I think the writing was so good. It was by a female author about a female protagonist. So the way it was portrayed was very relatable. And I liked it. The way it was going, it was not dragging in terms of world building. It was not dragging in terms of, just making it just slow. It was very fast, assertive, to the point, and that is what I really liked about Fort Wing. I like how she was not portrayed as someone who was very strong from the very beginning. So she had to work really hard, take advantage of the strong points that she has, and of course she recognizes her weaknesses and she works towards it. So I guess those are very good messages that Rebecca Yarros put into this book. I know it's a fictional world, but you can always grab something very positive out of these kind of fictional world. The chemistry between Zayden and Violet is it's a chef kiss. They are so cute together. There were certain times when you would feel, Zayden being so reserved in his actions, but it makes sense. The more you read about it, the more you understand why he is the way he is, and you relate, you sympathize with the situation, and you empathize with how the situation unraveled for them. It was very well written. I enjoyed it. I read it as an ebook. So, this was the book that kept me awake till 1 o'clock in the morning, and I just could not put it down. I love this kind of romantic fantasy YA genres. It's just that you get to be outside of your normal realm of reality. I know when it comes to making spreads for the books that you really like, you would rather want to make more space that you would like to write about this book rather than filling it up with more ephemeras and decorations. But to me, I knew that I'm not going to forget about this book. It had very huge impact on me, so I wanted to make the decoration speak about it, like the impact that it had rather than my writing. And like I said, everybody, most of them have read this book by the time I actually came to this scene. So there is not much that I can bring into the picture. It's just my personal opinion and my personal feeling while I was having reading this book. I just wanted this spread to have the maximum decoration, and I wanted to go with black and gold because Violet's dragons are black and gold. So that's something that I wanted to reflect more in this spread, to have black and gold to be the prominent ones. And I really love how this entire composition scrapbooking style collage has turned out to be. Let me know in the comments below what was your 5-star read in January, and what are the series or books that you are looking forward to read in the upcoming months. Maybe I will take some suggestions from you and also incorporate them in my reading list. I just want to say thank you for all the recommendations that I received in the setting up of this reading journal. There were so many of you who gave such brilliant book suggestions, and I have already put them in my list for this year. Well, friends, we have reached to the end of this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. My reading journal already have started looking so chunky and I am looking forward to making it more chunkier. Let me know from all the 5 spreads that I have made which one was your favorite, and if you have read any of the books that I read in January. If you have watched till the end of the video, leave a dragon emoji so that I know that you were there till the end. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.